Welcome to the third installment of the weekly video updates I've been doing, keeping you all in the loop on the wonderful activities that have been going on in my life. I understand that this week's video is a bit later than my other videos. Reason one, I just returned from a wonderful trip in Seattle. I was unable to get into my computer for a couple of days this week for reasons outside of my control. But obviously here I am, here's the video. And here we go. I'd like to, of course, start off the first few moments of my videos, as always, thanking everybody for the support, for the words of encouragement, for the positive feedback. I definitely appreciate all of it, and I know for a fact that I couldn't do it without any of you backing me. I do want to talk about my trip to Seattle. I was only up in Seattle for 3 days. I took a Greyhound bus, which I will talk about in a minute. I got to see the Avengers, which if you are a Marvel fan, you should definitely go see the Avengers because it's an outstanding movie. There are parts of it that aren't the most enjoyable, but for someone who is a fan like me, you're going to enjoy it, so I highly recommend it. On Saturday, I got to spend time with one of my cousins that I haven't seen for about 8 years now, my cousin David. I met David at this quaint little bar called Earl's on the Ave, and it's pretty much somewhere where I would go to on a daily basis if I still went to bars. And from there we went to his friend's housewarming barbecue party thing, and I got to meet a whole slew of really amazing and positive people, and kind of got re-welcomed to the Pacific Northwest and really had a great time.
Rock! I couldn't believe we still have time on the posters. Yeah. Rock!
And on Sunday, I went to the Sci-Fi Museum to see a whole bunch of really cool exhibits. The Jimi Hendrix exhibit, they had a Nirvana exhibit, an Avatar exhibit.
Look at the hands. Ah. Come on. Oh god, it's getting bigger. Oh, it's just one corner. It seems. Maybe I'll just switch out.
Oh.
No. No.
Is this a video?
No.
No, stop. I want to watch the video. Look. Look at that. Stop. Oh.
Musculature?
Musculature? I don't think that's a word. Put a different card on the table.
Excuse me? It's definitely a word.
Put a different card on the table.
Which of these is least stupid?
Treacles.
No.
How's that?
It's like the worst one you could have chose.
What?
What how about those, what is this? Oh, it's those soup trees. No, imp suit. Oh no, these ones are good. No, stop.
What? Oh. Is that a video? Shit. That's nice.
It said 6 lights. What's going on?
Horror film exhibit. It was just a really cool place. It was hard to stick to my arranged diet. For example, we went to Five Guys, burgers and fries, and I got a veggie sandwich, which happened to be just lettuce and tomato. Not a burger at all, but I still ate it. I did not exercise at all other than walking around. Overall, my trip to Seattle was really great. The bus ride home was not one of my more favorable experiences. What should have been a 5-hour experience turned into a 12-hour experience. I'm pretty sure I upset this older woman. A record number of people asked me if I am a Scorpio. No clue where they'd get that idea at all. Overall, it was kind of hard to stick to my diet and fitness regimen being away from home. it was definitely a great opportunity for me to see, oh hey, this is kind of hard when I'm not in front of my computer every day to watch YouTube videos. I also found it hard to keep to last week's quote about keeping things in the past, things in the present, and really your eyes on the future. I got wrapped up in the moment and really lost sight of what was important moving forward. I'd like to move on to this week's quote and go a bit more in depth with it than I have previous quotes. This week's quote is supposedly from Mark Twain, who was a brilliant man, one of my favorite authors of all time. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet has shed upon the heel that has crushed it. It's really easier said than done to forgive someone who has truly hurt you, as well as can be said to have to ask forgiveness from someone who you've really hurt. There's a lot of pride on both ends when it comes to saying, you know what, one or both of us was a gigantic jackass, and it really shouldn't be about who can be the bigger jackass and hold on to this grudge the longest. One or both of us needs to swallow our pride and, you know what, let's just hug it out. Let's just hug it out. Of course, that's really not going to be applicable in every situation that you come across where you or someone you know has been a gigantic jackass. And those are the times where you have to say, hey heel, you were a huge jackass. I was just chilling here, doing my photosynthesis thing, turning sunlight into energy, and rocking the color purple, or violet, if you will, when you crushed me. But you know what? This is an action way outside of my realm of control, so here's just a waft of forgiveness for you. Mazel tov. You really have to take a step back and consider why you or the other person was a jackass. Were you sincerely angry? Are you still sincerely angry? You really sometimes have to let time heal wounds before you start throwing the F word around. And it's hard because when you run into conflict, if you're a normal person and you run into conflict, you want it to be done and over with. You don't want to fight. You don't want to have that sick feeling in your stomach that someone's mad at you. You don't want to lose friends. Speaking of losing things, my weekly weigh-in was mildly surprising. I wasn't really expecting myself to lose any weight. I was really hoping I didn't gain any weight, but I did end up losing 5 pounds. So overall, since I started this journey, I've lost a total of 20 pounds, which is definitely something to write home about. In that loss of weight, I've actually gained quite a bit of confidence, which anybody who's known me for any amount of time knows that I've always kind of had this social paranoia, super low self-esteem. I've overcompensated with my sense of humor. If you look back comparatively to my friends, I've always been the short, chubby kid. Because of that and other events in my life, I developed this over-the-top, sarcastic sense of humor. I have absolutely no problem laughing at myself. On top of that, my self-esteem has always been scraping the bottom of the barrel. I really only have myself to blame for that. Of course, I can say, yeah, the other kids laughed at me and called me names. They poked fun at me in gym class. They would run backwards, and I would chase them forwards, and they would prove that I still couldn't catch them, and that really sucked. It would be me that would perpetuate that constant negative image of myself. You know, I would go clothes shopping with my mom, and I would get so frustrated that I couldn't fit into the same clothes that my friends could, and it would come school dance time and I would just get so depressed because I can't wear the same kind of dresses that my friends can, and I didn't get asked by boys like my friends did because I was the weird short chubby girl that nobody understood, because I was just always making a joke of everything. I was always making weird sarcastic comments about life and always so bitter and cynical, and for a kid, for like, you know, a preteen or a teenager, that's not really the right attitude to have. You know, my mom, she did the best that she could with me all by herself, and you know, she'd go out and we'd go to this place called the bread store, and she'd get me these, you know, bags of chocolate glazed donuts, and I would sit in my room and I would cry because I couldn't do the things that my friends did, and I would just eat those bags of donuts. And I would wonder, you know, why is my life like this? Why can't I be like everybody else? And it took me a really long time to finally wake up and realize I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be like me. I want to look like me. I want to act like me. I just want to be me. And it's been so hard for me to realize that I have to let that little chubby kid go. I have to let her go. I have to say, you know what? Yeah, it hurt. Yes, people laughed at me. No, I'm never gonna be a model. I'm never gonna walk on a runway. But you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to be a short person. I can't control that. I'm covered in tattoos. I have a wicked sense of humor. I don't have a normal haircut, and I don't care. I have no fucks to give about what other people think about me, because it's time for me to realize I'm as awesome as I can be, and that just has to be good enough for everybody else, because at the end of the day, I'm the only one to answer to. I don't have to answer to anybody else. It's just me. And it's about time that I became good enough for myself. So I'd like to end this video on that note, and thank you all for watching, and hopefully you guys took something away from this video, and I will see you next week.